You're quite multi-talented. You've been a freelance TV presenter, you've worked for many TV channels, you've worked as an actress as well professionally. You're in Spain. We're going to find out what you're doing now in Spain, because I do know that previously you have been a radio presenter as well with Central FM, Kiss FM. But first of all, I think people would like to know why you joined the Press Club, you know, how you got involved with it.
Well, I joined the Press Club because I was invited by a friend and neighbour and member, of course, of the Press Club, Josephine Quintero, to attend one of the dinners. And when I first walked in, it was very well attended, I remember that night. And when I first walked in, it was reminiscent of Macready's Theatre Club, going back to the 70s in London, when I used to be in the West End. And after the show, we used to go to the pub, and of course it was last orders always because it was late, and then we used to go to Macready's, and it was a bit like a, dare I say it, geriatric Macready's, because I was in my 20s then, of course, and a lot of us are pensioners now.
Yes, you're allowed to say that.
Good.
What do you really get from the Press Club? Obviously you've been a member for a while.
Yes, 5 years now. It's just a great feeling of being able to get together with people who are in the business or were in the business of media, because there's nowhere else that I've discovered since living here since 1996 where there is a kind of group that gets together that have all been at some point in the same sort of business.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure people are interested to know about your acting career. You were in the 20s, in your 20s in London's West End,
yes,
as Susan in No Sex Please We're British at the Strand Theatre. What else have you performed in?
Well, I started actually when I was 12 in theatre, a long time ago, in pantomime, and so I got my equity card by playing Gertrude Lawrence as a child in the 20th Century Fox movie Star with Julie Andrews. I played Gertie as a young girl and she played Gertie as an adult, and that's when I got my equity card, and did lots of films and television. And then in my 20s, as you rightly said, I was in the West End in No Sex Please We're British to begin with, and then moving on to be with Moira Lister at the Garrick Theatre in a play called Birds of Paradise. And then I did the very last Brian Rix farce at the Whitehall Theatre, which was great to have worked with him, because he really was one of the great farceurs of all times. Mm-hmm. And that was great fun. So I spent 6 years altogether in the West End in my 20s.
And what made you choose to move into television?
Well, I was always doing television. I did whatever came along. As a working actress, you just take whatever job turns up. So I did lots of television and theatre and film the whole time throughout.
But you changed to presenting, didn't you?
Yes, well, when it really happened, because when I turned 30, I wanted to be a bit more in control of my life than waiting for the phone to ring. And so I set up my own theatrical agency and became an agent. And one of the jobs that came in to the agency was this presenter for satellite television, which then became Sky Channel. And I asked all my actresses. Nobody wanted to do it. Oh, no, darling, we're actresses. We don't want to be presenters, they said. So I put myself up for it because it was nighttime work. And, of course, my theatrical agency was daytime work. And, of course, I got it. And because I was writing scripts and doing live broadcasts to Scandinavia and Malta, even though it wasn't Britain, we weren't allowed to do that without being a member of the NUJ. So I had to join. And, of course, that was my Press Club of Great Britain, if you like.
And you did move to Spain a while ago. What have you been doing in Spain? And, of course, let us know what you're currently doing.
Well, when I first came over, as I think you said earlier too, I had a radio show with Central FM for a couple of years, and then I had a radio show with Spectrum FM for about 10 years. Kiss FM was in the middle, but it didn't last very long, and it changed its name somewhere along the line as well, so I don't really remember much about that.
Okay. And the radio shows, were they like a magazine-style programme, or did you specialise in certain subject?
No, it was just really playing music and chatting. It was just like being a DJ. The magazine programme came when I worked with Martin and Nessie Wood, doing a magazine programme which I named Costa Living, which is a bit like cost of living and Costa Living. It was a play on words, and I interviewed business people who came on to talk about what they were doing on the Costa del Sol. That was quite interesting. And then went on after that to do a Princess video, where I just had to watch videos, which I hated, of course, and review them, and that was good fun as well.
Okay. And what are you doing now?
Currently, I set up my own theatrical agency, for want of something better to do, a few years ago, called Axarchia Properties, and I also write about the Axarchia villages, and that was published in for 2 years running in the Axarchia version and the Costa del Sol version, actually, of Euro Weekly News. And in fact, my partner David coined the phrase Axarchia, the hidden heart of Andalusia, which became the byline for the articles.